right, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning. It's the 7th of December. So we're going to do another update. It's been a little while. It's been about a week or a week and a half. Some interesting situations have happened. And I guess some expected, we were kind of anticipating the possibility of it, but we weren't looking for it to happen right now. So a little bit of a follow-up to see what's going on and to give you a bit of an update of where we're looking at moving things to. Sorry about this. All right, so if we move on to, let's start with BTC. So BTC, BTC. BTC has dropped for whatever reason. Now, in my view, this doesn't make sense for it to finish here. I have no idea what structure this is going to form if this is going to finish here. I don't see this as finishing here. I do think that we're going to need to go a little bit lower here. I do see this as a potential running flat, which means this is probably going to end up going a little bit as a pullback higher up, as it is here. One sec. So we move this back up into here, make one more drop, get underneath here, get under this pool of liquidity here. We're looking at maybe at the mid 30s area for a 78 pullback as a running flat. That's where I like my running flats, at 78 pullback of this move. That'll give us a nice impulse, running flat, and then we go. Then I can see those big numbers that we're looking at. This is ideally what we want. I mean, we don't want to go through this torture, but I do see, then I can see the justification of $200,000 Bitcoin to come, because this will be one big move, this massive correction in between all the pain that's causing everyone. But in the end, it might be well worth it, because the actual targets from there, 268 level, you're looking at 197K, probably just short of 200, what everyone's going to expect, and probably just drop just before it and get everyone out when everyone's trying to get out to 200K. So then I can see 200K, the fibs line up at 268. The first target will be 100, will be no dramas from there on if that happens. And then obviously followed by 138. But 200 is the ideal level, which is 268, and that's where we're going to go, and that'll be the next run. That makes sense. All this rest of the time that this was forming, it wasn't making sense, to be honest, and I was looking for it to make one more pull up here before it makes this move, but it's made the move now. For it not to continue on once more and drop down and take all this liquidity out, it won't make sense for it to go up from here. If this goes up from here, I throw my hands up in here, because this I don't know what it's going to end up doing, because it just doesn't make sense. I don't see it going 5 if it goes and makes new highs from here at all. It'd be actually be a bit of a worry, to be honest. Anyway, so that's what I see. Put a pullback here to muck around over the next few days, week, and then it'll drop, make one more drop. Hopefully we'll start to see a bit of a rally just before Christmas, or we'll get to the bottom of just before Christmas ready for our move up. And hedge funds will probably be, if they haven't already taken profits, which is probably a little bit early, maybe the timing was right, I don't know. But if hedge funds had taken profits and they're looking to get back into it, I'd say it'd be December quarter will be done. They'll probably be taking positions in January, if not late December. I don't know if they actually take the positions in late December. But I'm assuming if that lines up for January, which should be here, and then we move on from there. So hopefully that happens. Now on ETH, where's ETH? All right, similarly with ETH, now I'm seeing ETH as a big running flat as well. I know they're slightly playing out a little bit different, but the bigger picture I think is going to end up being the same. So what I do see happening here is a couple of situations. Now this to me looks a bit corrective, as much as it could go down. It looks a bit corrective for one more push up, and I actually quite like that, one more push up, because it'll actually catch everybody out, and ideally that's what we want. There's usually the what plays that everybody gets caught out by is the ones that we want to play. So if we're going on ETH, so this is the way I'm looking at it. So we've got a big pulse down, right? And normally we need to duplicate those pulses. So is that pulse going to duplicate now, which will be this move here, right down to here, which is about 2,500 ETH, before we rocket up? Or is it fool everyone? This looks a bit corrective. Give us a nice perfect flag, make one more high, then make the move down to duplicate this move. It'll move, and then it'll give us that massive wave. And I do see that that kind of ties in with what the BTC view is, where BTC is going to pull back and then make that last drop. And I think ETH's pull back up will actually potentially make a new high before we get the drop. So there's a lot of people that are selling, that have already started selling. They're all convinced, they're all selling it. It could go, but if it ties in with a pullback, this could make a new high, and that'll fool everyone, and then make the actual drop before it actually goes. So it'll take out so many people, so many people's analysis out of the equation. But in the end, it'll give us that running flat, which looks like, basically it looks like this, exactly that. So you've got move, running flat, zigzag, move all the way, and that is a very nice sweet correction there. That'll be a nice beautiful entry right there. That'll be such a nice risk to reward. It ties in with timing a little bit. I know we don't want it, but at the same time, it is what it is. That'll then give us our projected levels. I've already projected them here. If that makes a running flat, breaks the top, and then pulls back into this about the 78% level, which would be around about 2,000 to 2,500 USD ETH. That'll be a duplication of this. So we've duplicated that wave. If we make it from a new top, it'll bounce right in here, just underneath this swing, which again, you know, people will be putting their stops and whatnot. So it's a perfect liquidity point as well. So if that moves on, then we can see ETH, you know, 7, 9. Our actual target would be about the 13.5, which would tie in with Bitcoin's 200K. So yeah, look, it might go higher, I don't know, but let's be a bit more conservative than too much opium, and play with what we've got in front of us and move in that direction. So that's what we've got for ETH as well. Now, metis is also another interesting one. Well, it's been a bit boring, to be honest. Where is metis? All right, metis. So we were looking for this one to give us that expanding flat, and it has. So originally, if you look in the previous videos, we were looking for this to make that expanding flat, which was, one moment, which was right in here. So it was supposed to, it made the move, came down, came back up, broke this last top. We wanted the expanding move to break down, break that last low, and then take off. However, this structure is still not making sense to me. I don't see this, and if we're going to tie this in with a potential Christmas pullback slash not going to go anywhere, because a lot of the institutional money won't be there. I do see this as making one more corrective structure. So we've got that pulse down. It's probably going to come back into this liquidity point back into here, and then make one more drop, and then we'll see where that drop is. That'll give us that 78, because even though this is pulled down, it still doesn't come down to the 78 level, which is around about here. So we're just short of it still. So I do see this, if we're going to tie up with the Christmas events or whatnot, pull back up here into this area, mitigate, drop once more before we actually go. Whether that drops there or maybe a little bit lower, nevertheless, it's still going to be neither here or there. So we were targeting between 40 and 50, which is what we want. It's just come short of it. Let's see how that goes. We're too close to December. Things aren't moving the way I think it should have been. I think we're just going to get pullbacks and maybe one more drop. Make sure that they're probably going to let everyone be in doubt over Christmas, so they don't talk too much hype on Christmas dinner or lunches, whatever. And then they'll actually make the moves. And plus the institutional money won't be there. So I don't see this running far, to be honest. Particularly metas right now, it's just not making sense to me. Pull back. I'm seeing this as a pullback, one more drop, and then we go. Right now, it's just, I don't know what it's doing. I've lost hope. I'm going to wait for more price action, and then we can probably see a clearer picture. If we do get this, then that'll give us a nice sideways, time-wise corrective structure, and enough accumulation for that to happen. So it is a very new project, so you can't expect it to move too far too quick, and if it does, well, it's only going to come back, and here we are. So that's on metas, BTC and ETH. Good luck. Christmas is almost here, and don't take too many risks. Speak soon.